Hey guys, what's going on? All right, today I'm going to talk about a little bit my Surefire G2, I think is what it's called. I just kind of go over my opinion of it, what its pros and cons are, and just a short little synopsis of this light. I think I got it back in 2008, 2009, or something like that. I think it was 2009, 2008, 2009, right around there. And I don't remember exactly what I got it for. Nowadays, you can get them for like the mid 20s, the $30, something like that. It seems like it's Surefire's one of their cheapest, just workhorse lights. You know, there's nothing special about it. It doesn't have a clicky tail cap. It's just a momentary where you can turn it all the way on. But originally, when I got this light, it was I think it was a 65 lumen, the little incandescent light. So it was the yellowish kind of light. It was not an LED. And initially, I bought it because I was taking a diving class down in Miami, Florida, and I needed a light, and I knew I was kind of interested in law enforcement, and so I was like, well, it's a Surefire, you know, I can spend a little bit of money now, and at the time for me, like 20 bucks, so I was like, you know, I was super poor, and, you know, 20 bucks, wow, it's a flashlight, but it was a Surefire, and I was like, I can get my foot in the door of the tactical lights, because that was when it was, you know, when I was coming out in, like, the tactical world, and, like, wow, it was, like, opening my eyes, all this stuff. So anyway, so I saw the light, I got it. It did not have this bezel right here. It was the polymer, whatever kind of bezel that was on here, and I used it as a dive light. For where we were at, we were doing a lot of canal diving, and then we did some ocean diving. I can't remember how far down we went. I'm wanting to say it was 60 feet or something like that. It wasn't really deep, but it was deep enough that we could get certified what we got certified as. So overall, the light it lasted. It was a great light. I will say that. It did leak. It's O-ring sealed, right? You can see a little O-ring. Probably if you put another O-ring, because you see it's got one, but it's got a little indentation where you could put a second one. If you put that in there, it might have helped seal it up. I don't know where the water exactly was coming in from, but it never died on me in the water. I will say that. But there were many times I get out of the water, we'd be done with the day, be cleaning up our gear, and I would unscrew the thing, and I would be able to pour water out of the flashlight, and you could look on the inside, and you could see water inside the belt. So even though it was getting water in it, salt water, I mean, some of it was rainwater from the canals, you know, stuff like that. But then we went ocean diving, and there was salt. So obviously, because the ocean has salt water, I'm so smart. It's homeschooled for you right there. But it lasted very good, even though it did get water in it, and I don't know what the rating is for these guys, how far they're supposed to go. It did drown, but it kept going, which is cool, which is amazing to me. And that was with the incandescent bulb and the original polymer bezel. So fast forward a little bit, I went at the same place that I was taking a dive class, International Alert Academy, shout out to them. I took their law enforcement class, okay? So I went to their law enforcement academy, and I think that's when I got the, I don't know, it was one of these kind of guys. This is a eBay knockoff kind of LED bulb for this guy, and I think it wasn't this one, it's the one that's in here. I'll explain that in a minute. But I got that, and I had the original. I kept this guy on here, and when he was on, you could not, the dimensions were not exactly right, okay? And it would only screw in about that much, maybe even a little bit less. There was this big old gap. It was still sealed, okay? The O-ring was still in there. It was just not, it was not screwed in all the way when I had the LED in there. And it lasted me through that police academy. It was a great light. I don't have them out here, I have them in here. I used these little guys, rechargeable, the RCR 123As, and I'm trying to see who makes these, Powerizer, something like that. Anyway, you can get them very inexpensive on eBay, and they have worked, okay? I will say that. I'll get into the cons in a minute, but they have worked, and they have saved me a lot of money on buying batteries because as we all know, anybody that has tactical lights and that uses these lithium batteries, they are not cheap, okay? And they don't last forever. They last a good amount of time, but they're not cheap. But these rechargeable ones do help, okay? So I took it through that class, through that academy, through their low light instructor course, you know, Strategos, never can remember how to say the name, but we did that course. It worked well. I used this in conjunction with I don't know where the light is right now. Oh no, it's the light that I had in my bag. This guy. I used it in conjunction with this. This was my main light, and this is my backup light. And there were times where this would go down, the batteries would go dead, whatever, and I'd be able to pull this guy out. Move even forward, and coming up into recent years, when I was a cop, I used this guy. This was my, trying to say if it was my primary light. It would technically be my primary light. I had our big old D-cell, whatever those mag light, the heavy baton looking things you can hit people with. That would technically be my main light because I would always have it. But this would be my main tactical light. If I'm going to be clearing houses, doing stuff, I use this, okay? And that is generally when I got this this different head. And what I did to this light is the long thing. Stupid me, I did this before I really thought about it. I'm not an engineer, obviously, and if you watch my channel very much, you probably kind of get the idea that I like to mess with stuff and tinker with things, right? And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But as you can see, I ground down some of the threads because of that offset. It wouldn't screw in all the way, right? And stupid me, that didn't do anything. It's the as you can see here, these used to be the same size, right? And as you can kind of see, it was this piece, or whatever, it's this extra added length on the top of the LED insert that needed to be ground down. So this guy, the light's kind of too shiny. Wow. I don't know if you can see it. Whatever. It still wants to focus on my face. But you can see this got ground down. Once it got ground down, then he fits in there nice and snug. And thankfully, it did have enough threads on there that I can securely snug it up, and now there is no gap, okay? So that's how that's fixed. That's a little trick if you want to do that. These things are cheap. They're like, what, 12 bucks or something like that for an LED conversion for one of these guys. And you can just grind that down. If you need to, just use some sandpaper and just scratch it on there until you get it down. It's pretty simple, pretty quick process to do. So I started using the LED. I was using the LED before, but I started using this bezel, and I liked it, and it was good because it was a little bit tougher. If you needed to strike or anything like that, I never got into that kind of situation where I needed to do that. But it was nice to have a heavier duty bezel on here. And the other reason I did is because I picked up one of these little 1-inch offset mounts, and I had it on my gun, and I had it pushed forward on my gun, and I didn't want, it was during this whole time all this stuff kind of happened, and I needed, there was that space, right? And that's when I I shaved down the dimensions of the bulb, because of where I had this placed on my rifle, that it was right near the muzzle, and that blast is gonna beat the snot out of here, and I didn't want anything. I could just see that happening. Is me, whether it's in real life or we're practicing or whatever, we're training, and I could just see this thing getting blown off, okay? Because that's a powerful blast. If you stick your hand, I wouldn't recommend doing that, and I didn't do that. We'll get into that. It's a lot of blast coming out of the end of a barrel, okay? And I figured a metal bezel and it being properly on there, wow. I'm thinking and speaking at the same time. Sometimes it doesn't work. I'm not going to edit this, and this is just how it's going to go. That's why I put this on here, and it has served me very, very well. Okay, let's get into the cons, okay? The main con is the batteries, okay? This light, like I said before, is about mid-20s to early 30 price range, okay? So you can pick these up really cheap. You probably can get them on Amazon pretty cheap. You can get them on Arms List, eBay, those places. Get them used, who cares, it doesn't matter. And unless you're that kind of guy that really wants everything to be new. If you got the money, go for it. But you can get them very cheap. So you can get the light cheap, get your LED cheap, and go that route. Or you could spend a little bit of more money and kind of get one of these guys that's already like that, a Streamlight. And I can't remember how much this is, but I think it's more like $30. And it's already, nice and bright. I think it's brighter than there's your Streamlight. There's your Streamlight, and there's your Surefire. Yeah, it's definitely brighter than the Surefire. But that's to say, this is not a Surefire bulb, okay? You can spend a little bit more money and have everything already set and done with this guy, and it even comes with a little pocket clip, okay? So that's kind of cut to the chase. I would probably recommend this guy over getting one of these, just for that price range kind of thing, if you're going to be doing stuff to this, okay? I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it. I'm going to turn it on and see if you can hear it. Probably not. I don't know where the microphone is on this guy. This guy has the quietest high-pitched ring, okay, whenever you turn it on. And that's, I don't know what that is in this bulb. I didn't know light bulbs made that kind of noise. Like big garage lights will do that when they light up and stuff. But he has the faintest little whine. Not loud enough that I was really worried about in a tactical sense that somebody's going to hear it. But it would do that. And I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe a lot of that has to do with these batteries, okay? Because these batteries say that they are 3 volt, where did it go? 3 volt, 680 mAh. They say they're 3 volt, they're more like 3.4, 3.6, okay? So they put out more voltage than these things are made to have, or made to handle, okay? So I think what that noise is some kind of circuit thing going on in here, and it's regulating that that voltage or whatever, and it's knocking it back. And it will quit. The batteries will still be going, but if you leave this on for too long, okay, it will quit and it will die on you. It will just black out. It will go black. And I think it's because you're overexerting the bulb somehow. I don't know how. I don't know about how the electronics work. This worked well enough to clear houses and to do stuff like that, but I also had a light on my gun, and I also carried an extra light, and I had my mag light, so I had plenty of lights, okay? Because if you work in an environment where you depend on your light for your life, you need to have multiple backups, because it will go down when you don't want it to, okay? So you can do that. You can use this light for those kind of things. I would recommend it for that stuff, but I would say you need to be cautious and know your light. Have a backup light. Like I said before, go ahead and get one of these guys. These guys are, I think they're like in the 30s or something like that. They're a little bit more expensive than your G2s, but your Polytacs, they're solid, I haven't had any problems with this, okay? I've not died with this. I have died with this. That's why I'm saying this guy he's been through the ringer. He's been beat to snot. So anyway, that's just a quick look at these things, at this Surefire G2. Just kind of my 2 cents on it. It's a good light, all right? It's just durable as snot. It's been to the ocean and back, okay? And it's survived. Be careful about your rechargeable batteries if you're going to carry this. If you're going to carry it in a serious capacity, you probably want to invest and put regular batteries in it, okay? Don't be a cheapskate like me. But there you go. There's just some stuff to think about. Hope you all enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments below, what you carry on your EDC. I've still got this Surefire, and even though it's where did it go? You can barely see it because it's still one of those halogen bulbs. And there's your LED. I wish it was an LED. I may get that later, but I'm just attached to this little guy. Anyway, let me know in the comments below what you use. Y'all be good, you be safe, and I'll see you in the next video.